Hi, I'm Brian King, and this is Marriage Monday. Today, I want to take a look at how the holidays affect our marriages. Now, we're moving full speed into the holidays. I mean, you've got Thanksgiving coming up, Christmas, New Year's, Valentine's Day, and it's not just the holidays, but it's everything that goes with them. You know, the concerts, the plays, the shopping, Black Friday, family get-togethers, football playoffs, and then the Super Bowl, winter sports, skiing, sledding, hunting, all the things that go on, the parties. It's a very busy time of season. Great, there's so much to look forward to. And yet every year, many couples hit the same hidden traps that turn all of that joy into frustration, stress, and conflict. How do you avoid it? What do you do? The main thing that I want to talk about is how to be aware of what the pitfalls are, because there's a bunch of them. And the main way to avoid something is to be aware of it. If you know there's a hole in the floor, you can walk around it. If you know there's something coming up that's going to give you some trouble, you can prepare for it. It's when we don't know and we get blindsided. I don't know about you, but there were years, I went for years being blindsided by some of the things that come along with the holidays. And it adds stress, it adds tension, it adds conflict, and it just takes the fun out of it. But over the years, I've identified some. I'm sure there's probably still more, and every year we've learned something new. But there's a bunch of things I've learned that I'm going to share today. The main marriage trap, or the main trap that people fall into around the holidays, is unspoken expectations. You know, those things we assume our spouse knows. How much we're going to spend, what gifts to buy, which events to attend, or who do you visit first? And when those expectations aren't met, there's disappointment that sets in. You know, for us, we came from two very different families, and we celebrated different. My parents always opened the Christmas gifts on Christmas morning. Hers always opened them on Christmas Eve. We had to adjust to that. She had a lot of expectations around that and about other things. Our Thanksgivings were very different. Her expectations around Valentine's were very different. And when I didn't know, I figured out that sometimes you have to really ask them what they expect from a certain holiday. And then, you know, maybe you screwed up this year, things didn't go well. Take notes for next year. Sometimes that's all you can do. But the great part is, if you do take the time to, you know, kind of fill in the blanks on what the expectations are around the holidays, now's a great time to do it. We're not quite there yet. You know, sit down and say, hey, what are you expecting out of Thanksgiving this year? You know, are we doing Black Friday shopping? Do we even have a Christmas list yet? You know, what do you want for Christmas? Just prepare yourself for it, because it's coming. And there's going to be a lot of expectations. You have them too. It's not just her expectations. Talk about it. I'm going to spend more time on Wednesday dealing with these, but right now I just wanted to make you aware of a bunch of the pitfalls. And unspoken expectations is huge. Number two, the one that I call it the Scrooge Effect. And basically it's all the pressure, all the busyness, and it kind of gets to you. And you know, suddenly there's one comment or one small problem becomes the last straw. And before you know it, you're both saying things like, I hate this time of year. For me, it's long lines in stores, grouchy people, things just not going the way you plan, not being able to find something you're looking for. You know, all throughout the year, you go to a certain store and buy certain things, and then now there's like 50 people and nothing on the shelves. And That just drives me crazy, and that tends to make me feel like, bah humbug. I don't need this. I don't want this. Again, we need to plan ahead. I'm going to talk about more of this on Wednesday, but one of the ways you can kind of avoid that is preparation, planning, talking it out with your spouse and delegating what you need to do, and really just having a plan. That makes a whole lot of difference. The third pitfall, and this one kind of evolved over the years, and it's financial pressure. Every commercial and every social post screams, spend more. And the temptation is to keep up or to outdo last year. Well, what did we do last year? Well, we got to do more than that, and that can create real tension. And it kind of goes along with the unspoken expectations, because the pressure on your wife is, whatever you did last year, you got to top that this year. And then, like I said, it's kind of a pressure that comes on us. We don't even realize it sometimes. It's like, well, what did we do last year? Well, this year we've got to do more. Why? Why don't we just do the same? Why don't we do less? Well, people will expect, oh, other people have expectations too. It's kind of interesting. And depending on where you are in your finances, you really need to plan ahead for what you're going to do, what you're going to spend, and kind of keep the limits on things, and fight the expectations that are being placed on you, because otherwise you're going to be, well into next July paying for it. And I don't know, I don't like that. So I'm assuming you don't either, but try to keep it in check, because it adds a lot of tension as well, because then you can't do other things that you may have been planning. Number 4, pitfalls that are happening around the holidays. Family tension. Those family members you only see on the holidays. Sometimes there's a reason you only see them on the holidays. Being around extended family can bring up old conflicts or just awkward dynamics that can spill over into your marriage. Lots of times, there's just things that come up when you are around people you haven't seen in a long time, and it's a whole different dynamic. And again, how do you deal with that? Well, for my wife and I, we've had some bad experiences, and we kind of looked at it and said, what happened? Kind of dissected it after the fact, and realized that, well, why don't we plan to do things a little different next year? And then we actually remembered to, limit the amount of time with certain people, make sure we're mentally prepared to deal with certain people in certain situations. You know who I'm talking about. Most people all have somebody that just is like, this is not going to be my favorite holiday because of this person. Maybe family, maybe friend, maybe a coworker that gets in there. It could be anything, but it can add tension to your marriage if you don't have a plan to deal with it. And number 5, the excesses. This is a perfect time. I mean, there's so much to look forward to, but there's also too much food, too much alcohol sometimes, too many late nights, too many commitments. Oh my goodness, all the things that you have to do. How many of you really have to do? That's another good thing to talk about. So it's easy to lose balance. And when you're run down, patience and grace go out the window. And conflict, fights, the ride home after something can really throw a wrench into the holiday spirit, so to speak. So there's 5 pitfalls: the unspoken expectations, the Scrooge Effect, where just that last straw, and then all the financial pressure to keep doing more and more and more. throw in some family tension and add the excesses, and you've got a perfect recipe for marriage tension and fights and conflict, and all of the things that you've been trying to avoid all year can just come up. And why? Because there wasn't a plan in place. So awareness is the most important thing. Like I said, over the years, we were blindsided by these so many times, and they just came up like at the last minute. Well, we've got to buy this extra present because it's expected. Or, oh, I didn't know they were going to be there, and then it just ruins the whole thing. Or when you get into some of the other holidays, I know now what my wife expects for certain holidays, like Valentine's Day. I need to go all out on Valentine's Day. Now, you may or may not have to, but I have to be romantic. If I'm not, her expectations are unmet. And that's not a bad thing. And it's not that she expects a lot of money to be spent. It's just that, yes, she expects some flowers and a card and a gift. And I don't just sign the card. I write something really nice in the card. And if I don't, her expectations aren't met. And like I said, that's not a bad thing. That's just who she is and what she expects. And I want to meet her expectations. So I do it. And I enjoy it. And it's not like I have to, bend over backwards and do things I wouldn't normally do. It's just, I know what she needs. So I want to meet that need. So it's easy. But it's also, until I figured out what exactly it was that she needed, it was puzzling and confusing. So there you go. So the best way to avoid these pitfalls and all of the other things that come along with it, you probably even know of some more that you've had over the years that you've been blindsided by or that you seem to keep repeating every year. The best way to take care of them is first be aware of them. And once you're aware, then you can sit down and make a plan. You can talk about what's most important to each of you. Then decide what to say yes to. And at the same time, you can decide what to say no to. Then, the whole point of enjoying the holidays is doing it together. And when you are not only aware of all these pitfalls, but you take charge of them, kind of expect them to show up at inconvenient times and be prepared to deal with them. I'm going to talk more about it on Wednesday. So I'm going to leave it there for now because it's getting a little long on this video. But you can protect your peace and you can get the things done you need to get done and enjoy the holidays. So I don't know about you, but I'm looking forward to Thanksgiving, to football, to Christmas and New Year's and Valentine's Day and all the things that go with it. And you can too. Talk to you on Wednesday. Thanks for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe if you're getting anything out of this.